Good music, good times, where the culture lives. Keep it locked. Smartin said that. Easy.
Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this is Skinny Fabulous, and right now you're listening to good music, good times. Good music, good times. Where culture lives. Somebody say, Abo.
And when you feel that the soca done, well, it's more soca to come. And when you feel that the whining done, well, it's more whining to come. And when you feel that the jumping done, well, it's more jumping to come. And when you feel that the soca done, well, it's more soca to come. Come. Hold me real tight, control me all night.
You never had nothing like this before, and this kind of pleasure you can't buy it from a store. Sometimes I feel like you don't appreciate me. I feel you hate me. Sometimes I feel that you don't have no love for me. You put everything before me, but
I am the rudeness on your face, I am the rhythm in your ways. Tell them I am soca.
I am the jumping in your heart. I'm the reason can't even start. Tell them
I am soca, 'cause I'm me, a good mother, in your costume on the road. 'Cause I'm me, a good mother, till your system overload. And when you feel that the soca done, well, it's more soca to come. And when you feel that the whining done, well, it's more whining to come. And when you feel that the jumping done, well, it's more jumping to come. And when you feel that the soca done, well, it's more soca to come. Come. Squeeze me real tight, please me all night.
you never had nothing like this before, and this kind of pleasure you can't buy it from a store. Sometimes I feel like you don't appreciate me. I feel you hate me. Sometimes I feel like you don't want to support me. You're quick to abort me, but
I am the rudeness on your face, I am the rhythm in your ways. Tell them I am soca.
I am the jumping in your heart. I'm the reason can't even start. Tell them
I am soca, 'cause I'm me, a good mother, in your costume on the road. 'Cause I'm me, a good mother, till your system overload. And when you feel that the soca done, well, it's more soca to come. And when you feel that the whining done, well, it's more whining to come. And when you feel that the jumping done, well, it's more jumping to come. And when you feel that the soca done, well, it's more soca to come. Come.
Well, we're here.
How's that? Is this better?
This is perfect.
Yeah,
Why am I in two places?
because you're on the GMGT TV and you're on your phone.
Good evening, ladies. How are y'all doing?
June.
Good evening, everybody. We're ready to start Hard to Hate Me.
Is that better? Is that better?
That's way better. You guys are live now. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. We're ready to start the show. Tony, you're good?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right. Tiffy, I can't see you. What did
You
you do
can't?
with your camera?
I don't know why. I'm here.
All right. I mean, I can hear you, but I can't see you. So here's what I wanted to do. Cut your camera off and come right back in. But
Okay.
Tony, you and Camille are perfect right now.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
I was.
Let's see what we got from you now, Tiffany.
Try again.
Yeah, your camera. Did you turn your phone to the side?
No, this is my computer.
Oh, your computer. I don't know.
It worked the last time.
I was seeing you perfect a minute ago, and then something happened. And then, do you have something covering the camera?
No.
Yeah, so it looks weird. So close the call and come right back in.
Okay, I'll come back in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
So to the people that's listening on the outside, welcome to the virtual edition of Hard to Hate Me. I have CAMZ in the building. I have Tony in the building, and we are about to try to get Tiffany back in. So have no fear. We'll be right back. Hard to Hate Me, going live in a few. All right? We're going to just vibe to this. Coming right back.
Yep.
Can you guys see me or no?
Yep. We can see you.
Okay,
Okay.
guys, you're all perfect. You're looking beautiful as usual. So to the people on the outside, this is Hard to Hate Me, the virtual edition. We decided we was going to try it that way tonight to see how it's going to work out. So welcome one and all. Welcome everybody.
Kareem, can you make me go blank off camera for 1 second?
Oh, sure. Let me.
Thank you so much for hanging in there with us.
All right, so I'm going to close
Take me
your.
back for 1 second.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to take you off and we're going to continue to vibe to some music. Give me a second, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for your patience, guys.
Okay, guys, y'all ready for me?
Yeah.
All right, so Hard to Hate Me, the virtual edition is going live now. I'll keep the instrumental in the background to give y'all a little bit of mood music.
Can I get
But-
some Bob Marley, please?
You want Bob Marley? You want to get shut down? You want to get shut down on Facebook? Bob Marley's the fastest way to get us shut down on Facebook.
That vibe. Okay, no problem. Thank you for correcting.
Yeah. So let's keep it, safe. And I'm about to send y'all video live, guys. Again, to all the people that's listening, welcome to Hard to Hate Me. This is the virtual edition. And guys, I am sending you live right about now. Camille, you guys are live. You're not gonna hear me anymore unless I have to come in to get you guys' attention. But I'm ghost right now, okay?
All right.
Got it.
Have a great show. If y'all need anything, just say it. I'll be listening, okay?
Perfect.
All right, good.
So much. Listen, thank you so much. Welcome to Hard to Hate Me. Thank you so much for tuning into our first virtual edition. Thank you so much for being patient. Thank you so much to the DJ that was bigging up the vibe and keeping you guys going. I hope you guys are comfortable. Keep it going. I wanted to get Bob Marley, but they said no, I can't. They don't want us to get a shut. I'm gonna keep it going with a very, very lively conversation.
Okay.
We started on night edition so we can have certain types of conversation, so we can be covered, with certain, because of certain things that we talk about. And Hard to Hate Me, what we want to
Okay.
focus on is self-help. How can we keep ourselves grounded as Black people in America? How can we make our Black lives matter? Right? And I started this platform to give us a voice to have the type of conversations that will contain the essential elements for our well-being, right? To make our lives real. And I'm joined by my homegirl Tiffany, Miss at Opinionated Diva,
Yes.
Top Twan, Mr. Tony T, aka
Hello.
Twan.
Am I there? Can y'all see me?
Yes.
We
Oh,
can-
okay.
microphone.
Okay. I went out a little bit on my end. So, hola, folks. How y'all doing?
So listen, we're gonna Ashay so we don't have any shaded energy around, so we have no more technical difficulties. We are hoping for a smooth transition into the night. Okay, this is about nighttime. We are about to pursue our well-being through this conversation. Okay, we want to establish our foundation as Black people to make our Black lives matter. First and foremost, traditional. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing?
Hanging in there. Yeah.
And how y'all doing to everyone that is tuning in on Facebook, tuning in on the Mixcloud, tuning in on GMGT Live? Hi, how are you guys doing? I'm hoping I'm able to catch up with all the messages. If anyone, Kareem, or maybe I'll try to, if you guys have your computer out, we can log into the Mixcloud, or anyone can log into the Facebook. Let's catch up make sure that we are up on the comments tonight, because I know that, people want to be heard. So, how y'all doing? Gratitude in our hearts tonight. How y'all doing?
Grateful.
Yeah. I'm, the year is winding down. It's bringing my spirits up. Like, you know what? It's next year is a new thing. So,
I ain't see a lot of, how typically around this time you see posts about, 2021 about to be my year. That. We
learn.
Okay.
We learn. We just want to make it out alive, and next year might be something else. Okay. So.
Okay. We had no idea what 2020 was about to bring us, honey.
I was in 2020. I'm gonna be straight.
Okay. Clear vision. Clear vision. Okay.
I'm get my life coach voice. We have to continue to pursue our well-being and hold the vision. It's still kind of bleak, but we still have to hold the vision. So we want to encourage everyone to, hold gratitude in your heart and, still hold the vision together. You may have a little detour. 2020 kind of strapped us in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if we're doing as bad as the people on social media. Pop culture is really wilding right now.
Oh, gosh.
Child, there's too much going on. Just too much going on.
So today's show, I want to use tonight to catch up on those things and give us an opportunity to be like, listen, I'm grateful for the little struggle I have, because it's I see on social media, just watching certain things, Black men degrading Black women. I know, Tiffany, you saw that video.
I did, and I want to talk about it. So you set it up. I don't know if you saw it, Twan. Did you see it?
I don't think I did. Y'all, fill me in.
Listen, I want to run down a bunch of things in 2020 that I'm like, okay, I have to continue to watch. I have to continue to keep my eyes open. Especially, your social life, how civil, people are willing to, how cooperative people are willing to be, you know what I mean? What people are doing to establish their own personal,
How is that working for you?
I'm maintaining my peace. Do you know what I mean? I as a Black woman, I'm always on double duty.
Right.
I mean, so right. I have to still keep myself together, but stay tapped in. You have to be 50% namaste and 50% I will snatch that at.
Okay.
What about
real quick?
What about y'all? Twan.
I know, go Twan.
I don't, girl. Come back to me, honey. Because
hey, yes.
I come back to me at the end of the show with that question. Then we'll see if I have
think about it.
Listen, it's a vibe to be completely into yourself. That is in essence the number one law of attraction. To be interested in yourself.
Right.
So
there was a whole thing about how is dating in the pandemic, and I really have no commentary on that because I'm not. Yeah. And so
period.
It's I'm interested what my other friends are doing and all of that, but I'm like, I got so much going on, and not that you should not try to find love and look for love and companionship and all that, but honey, no.
Listen. Okay, so we're gonna touch on a few things. So we're gonna talk about some things in 2020 that we're reclaiming our time from. Okay, we just reclaiming our time.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna talk about things that we learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what we're looking forward to, even though it's still
Right.
week, we don't want to be tempted to do that. So we want to use this show to kind of like free fall into, you know, how we feel about what we want for the next
For 2021.
Oh, yes.
if we could dream so far, you know, we kind of
I know.
for the first time, I'm like, you know, I'm okay to go slow. You know?
Right. It actually feels liberating to go slow.
Mhm.
Like, okay, let me go smooth sail, honey.
So is
I
that it feels liberating? So wow. So okay, Twan, you're coming out your shell a little bit because we asked, you know, how do you like come back to me? And you're like, you know,
I think, you know, I've been doing so much over the past 5 years, and I've been up and down the East Coast and just moving. It feels good to finally kind of be forced to slow down. So I'm, you know, I mean, unfortunately, it's, you know, through these circumstances, but you know, I'm not entirely mad because it's made me focus on me a lot, which I need.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the perfect time for me to say a little bit of Twan's background, you know, from South Carolina and why you are
originally DC and Maryland, but my family's from South Carolina.
And why you're really important to the show. You're really important to the show because, you know, this show talks a lot about how we ground ourselves as Black people. And I, as a person with Caribbean, you know, from the West Indies, Caribbean heritage, you being from South Carolina, grounded and rooted from Geechee heritage, you know, that's like the closest, you know, Caribbean American type of connection. So I think it was really important to include your narrative, your life, your walk, you know, where we kind of intersect, right? We're friends, you know, in certain other movements and just to empower ourselves.
Absolutely.
And Tiffany, like, you know, we met on the road. You know what I mean? We met on that road.
Absolutely.
Juve is our, well, I don't know. Do you love Juve as much?
But you know, I do. But then when I realized that I had to get up in like 30 minutes after I got back to my hotel room, I realized that I couldn't do it all after about 3 or 4 years of it. But I do love Juve though, for sure.
Right.
You know.
And Tiffany's really important to the show because, of course, she's an opinionated diva, and I love opinionated people. And you know, I love the fact that Tiffany is straight up Black American. Do you know what I mean? From the South, and you can't tell her like nothing about like not going to Carnival, like, you know. And this is a platform, an outlet for you know, to uplift Caribbean culture, to uplift what West Indian people are doing, and you guys are my allies. So as I'm, you know, in my own cloud about how amazing the culture is, it's important to have people who solidify, you know. And
it's a learning. I mean, it's a constant learning experience for me, and I actually like that. Is that when my friends are talking, and you know, I mean, of course, I can, you know, I know a lot, but I don't know everything, right? So sometimes I'm like lost in the sauce of what's going on, but I know how to just sit back. And like, you know, if I need to like be like, oh, what was y'all talking about? Like, you know, can you fill me in? And you know, that's how I, you know, get to know. So I
research, as we say, you know, some of the clips is like, you know, we go down rabbit holes,
right?
And where we meet is the intersection of the culture. You know what I mean? And and this show is about, you know, I use these conversations to talk about the culture, to see how it empowers us in the intersections, in the gray area. You know, you're a Black woman.
I think it's a good platform you started. So thank you for doing that.
Yes. Thank you for seeing, you know, nothing, and, you know, both Tiff and I to be a part of it, honey.
Yeah, come on now. On a personal level, you guys, come on. You guys are part of my well-being circle. You know what I mean? And Tiffany, we pursue my well-being that, you know, kind of alive.
Although I am a little upset that we can't have our after debrief, you know, because of this 10 o'clock thing, but it's all good.
Absolutely. I mean, this is
cheers.
I might call you after the show is actually over, and we're all going to be on FaceTime together.
Yes. Anybody Cloud? Is anyone? What are they saying on the Mixcloud? What are they saying on Facebook? If you guys have any comments, about how are you guys coping? How are you guys in your Black life? You know, in the backdrop of COVID, you know, they're saying we're in the biggest surge. You know, what I noticed? Something I got to reclaim my time for. So to get back on topic, so I'm gonna set it off. Something I'm gonna reclaim my time for is, you know, the contradictory information about, you know, what to do about COVID, how to protect ourselves. Particularly, you know, they were saying that Thanksgiving was going to be the biggest surge ever, the biggest super spreader, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, you know, everyone kind of sheltered in place. And then now it's like, you hear the narrative on a lot of the news channels. It's like, okay, yeah, we're about to have the biggest hospital outbreak ever. And I understand that this is about the hospitals as far as it being overcapacitated and, you know, their ability to take care of us should something dire happen.
You know, I think what's important to say about that topic is, I think when you get information and you get it from the media, you are only as smart as the information you're given, right? So if you have mainstream media telling you all of these things, then I absolutely am for taking all precautions, like wash your hands, wear a mask. I'm not saying go out in the street and do cartwheels, that, you know, and act all wild and all of that. But what I'm noticing and what I don't like is I don't like judgment of other people about when you see somebody else doing something and you're like, oh, well, you must be doing that, or you must want COVID. And, you know, it's like we're all trying to navigate through this together. And so for those that choose to, you know, say, you know what, I think it's best that I don't be around anyone, that is totally okay. And if there are people that are like, you know what, I want to be around a small group, or I want to go to a small gathering, that is totally okay. I don't like the judgment, because you don't know someone's story. You don't know someone's life. You don't know what someone did to get to the point where they want to see their family member, or, you know, and I just think it's a lot of judgment. And I just think if we all live your best life, so whatever is best for you, that is totally fine.
And that's like, that's staples for us as Black people, right? Live our best life, let those things happen. But, you know, something that you said that's really important, like, that it's important, but it's also problematic, because as far as like live your best life and, you know, wanting people to be free and make their own decisions and trust that they are doing certain things. But if you remember, I think the last show when we had Dr. Janae, you know, the therapist.
Yes.
You know, she talked about a lot of people in her practice having issues having those tough conversations. Like, now you're in an uncomfortable space, right? So you have to now tasked with controlling, you know, your own health. You have to take control of your own health, right? So
absolutely.
Instead of you chasing success, you got to chase that potential to, you know, be healthy, your well-being. So that's what it is. So like, you just don't have, you know what I mean? So she's that a lot of people are having problems, and part of their stress is their inability to have conversations about, like, you know, about like stuff, like, you know. So that says, okay, are we falling short? Now that 2020 done dragged us through the whole situation, right? If we are falling apart in seeing a therapist, I'm not shaming, right? I'm just asking us to look at where we are in just the emotional development, that we are being dragged just by not being able to be like, who all over there? What y'all doing?
Right. So Twan, I'm gonna let you speak on that. I get chatty when this is Johnny today. Normally, guys, I have Jack. It's a whole problem. So
okay. Now, I guess, you know, just like Tiff said, to kind of piggyback, like, if you do what's best for you, you know, and if what's best for you is not what's best for somebody else, you know, I don't like the judgment either, but I
trust you.
Right.
I see what you do to take care of yourself.
Right.
Before and after and through.
Right. Then I guess, where do we draw the line with that? I guess that's what the point is, because it's, you know, it's a thin line, you know, and when the whole pandemic first began and businesses were closing, there were still people that had to work that were not essential workers, or what we thought were essential work, and they still were going out and putting themselves, you know, at risk. And You know, what are we going to say that to them? You know,
I remember in March saying, guys, you need to wear a mask. You need to wear a mask. And 90% of the people I talked to were like, oh girl, but it's not that. And I'm like, okay. But now it's like, now it's the exact opposite, but because the masses are doing it now, it's like, oh, now I know that I'm right if I say that, right? But when you don't know.
And that's the thing. I don't want to, this thing, I was kind of teetering. I don't want to get into a debate about masks and the mask, but
you better wear one.
I want to
GMGT.
Well, because we could go there, but for the sake of time, I really want to just underline just what we're having difficulty with, right? Just to consider what's important. So it's a necessity for us to be able to speak up and ask questions and really observe and be comfortable and, do our own research and trust our own stuff. And that's what 2020, taught me. You know what I mean? So just back to reclaiming our time, what even in knowing that COVID is in the, there's still the pandemic in the backdrop. There's still threats of us being shut down and quarantined again. So all that stuff is now a constant. So there's no more new normal and all this stuff. It's been 6 months, 8 months. It's present.
Right.
Yeah.
This is now. Law of unhook yourself from the future. Live here. Hold on.
I know for me and I would offer the advice to anyone. If you do realize that we are in a new normal, which we are, you have to navigate how you're going to be able to come out of the pandemic and still know that the normal is not going to be there, right? So just because the vaccine is here doesn't mean that you're going to be able to just go out in the street like you thought. Trust me, you're not. The majority of people in the world, not just America, are not going to be able to get this vaccine until maybe the end of next year. And that's if you want it. That's if it's available.
Tiffany, can you solidify? You do the research, and I know that, again, why you're really important to this conversation is because of what you do professionally. I know you can't go into a whole bunch of stuff because it's your free time, but you do the research as far as how it affects our body. Just what do we need to know? What do we need to know?
I think you can make educated decisions for yourself. If you are not sure, it is totally appropriate for you to ask, what is this vaccine made of? Right? Because some people might be allergic to eggs or somebody, whatever, right? Cells, whatever cells they're using for this vaccine. I am not educated in that. I don't do vaccine research. I do cancer research. But what I can say is that, when it's available, if you're a frontline worker or you're, in, the healthcare industry where you work in, residential places for older people, and that's something that you need to do and you're comfortable with it, totally fine. But if you're not, don't feel the societal pressure that you have to. And I am not anti-vaccine, right? Because if you think about before your kid can go to kindergarten, they got to have measles and rubella and all of that, right?
Part of the culture, right? It is something that we can toss up in our consciousness.
Right.
But so yes, I'm happy that you differentiated what your expertise as far as cancer research, but versus the COVID vaccine research. But what I want you to highlight is just certain things that you look for as a professional, right? Because now we're even in cancer is also something that plagues the Black community as well, right? So you are somebody in the room making a difference about the decisions about how communicated to patients.
And so it's a known fact, and it's not just my opinion, it's a known fact that getting Black and minority and indigenous people to take the vaccine is going to be a problem. And I don't say a problem in that we're going to be like, oh no, we don't want it. But we are actually naturally and rightfully so scared of what we're putting into our bodies because you've done it to us for so many generations and centuries past that we're just accustomed to not wanting it, right?
Right.
But also, for me, from a strictly scientific standpoint, for myself, I know that everyone who was in these phase 2 and phase 3 research clinical trials, they are following these people for 2 years for long-term side effects, right? So these people have only had this vaccine for 6 months right now, maybe 7, right? Maybe less, a little bit less than that. So when this vaccine comes out at the end of December, they will have been looking at maybe 3 months worth of follow-up data on these patients, right? But you're telling me you're going to follow for 2 years. So I don't think it's outside of my right to want to know what the data looks like in that time frame. And I might get it before then, or I might not. But I think it's my right to want to know what are the long-term effects. We don't know what it does in pregnant women. We don't know what it does in children. We don't know what it does in people who have certain type of ailments. I mean, it's a lot. Those are a lot of healthy volunteers that we had that did this research. So now we have to expand on other types of people. Like, is this going to benefit you, or is it going to contribute to your illness more than what it are? You know what I mean? So it's a lot, but that's, again, all the science nerds, we can always talk offline. Let me know what you think. But yeah, so it's a lot to talk about, but just be conscious.
Rabbit hole. Don't you leave us out of that rabbit hole.
Girl.
Okay. I just think it's important for you to know what's going on with you, right? Continue to try to keep yourself abreast to your body, what you're doing, when it changes, go to the doctor.
Absolutely.
What I'm not let me just do this disclaimer. I'm not advocating for you to not take a vaccine or not, want to be in reality. Again, I'm trying to principle law of attraction, unhook yourself from the future. So what's available right now is a gateway, which is a vaccine, which is going to be a part of our normal society.
Right.
You know what I mean? And once again, Black have to kind of discern. This is about discerning.
I would ask myself if I were anyone, okay, you get the vaccine, but if you think about it really, how often have you gone to a primary care physician, right? You're supposed to go once a year. But how many times have you actually, nope, not your GYN, not that, not your, like your regular physical doctor because you want to go play sports next year. But how many times have you actually gone to get your regular blood work done, to get all your levels?
We can't assume that, because again, this is affecting people with underlying conditions. Just like if you look at certain, natural disasters, of course, who are the people that are affected? Who are the people part of the death toll? Who are making up the people who are most disenfranchised? Like, of course, it's people of color, marginalized people, people. Anyway, you get the point.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna assume that that you guys go to that. It's like everyone is on that type of medical checkup regimen on a regular. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be
me either, but the vaccine is not a one-off fix-all for y'all. So like, if you think the vaccine gonna make you good,
right? But here's the thing: they may not. What I'm trying to highlight is that the choice that may be taken away from, regardless of what, if you're in the category of a health risk, as far as maybe it costs too much. And I want to teeter so carefully on these type of conversations because it's crazy.
Okay.
But maybe we need to take a little music break. But
I know healthcare is a big personal issue.
So 2020, so we can agree that we're taking our time back with just certain care practices or just suggestions, recommendations that are just like, oh yeah, take this. We're no longer being spoon fed, right? Like, so that's not a conversation that we're willing to kind of shy away from.
Right.
I think research is so important. Most people, like you said earlier, pay attention to your body, pay attention. Most people don't pay attention to the small little things that go on in our bodies, and we wait until they're big, and then we go to the doctor, and then we still don't do it.
Oh, you all right?
You okay, boo?
That's how good the conversation was.
Okay. Take a little sip. Take a little sip. Okay.
I took that sip, and I was like, what you were saying, I was like, yes, I was trying to say that, but I'm like, you drinking, girl. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, you cough cute, so I mean, there's that.
Right.
I would not have looked that cute coughing, no.
Okay.
I would have fell off the
with
chair.
a little side pony, honey. Okay. Yes.
I'm on my. I feel like very like with my hair back and forth type situation.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me cough like 2 seconds. Listen, can we do like a little music break so I can cough like for like 5 seconds?
Does that mean I have time to go get more drink?
Can
It's
we
running low.
give her a little music break for a second? About. We are back. Okay, am I all up in the camera? What's happening?
You are.
Am I? Okay.
Yes, you look cute.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us again. Thank you for hanging in there. Hope you guys love the tunes. Hold me, darling. I love a kiss. I love a kiss.
Me too.
Always hold me with the vibe. You're with Hard to Hate Me. You're on with Twan, CAMZ, and Tiffany. And we're really talking about 2020. Like, what we're reclaiming our time from. What are we reclaiming our time from? And I know, Tiffany, we had some conversations earlier. We talked about certain things about the culture and just being liberated as Black people, as Black women.
Yes.
And I posted something on my video on my Instagram today. That's at innermajorway.com. Not innermajorway.com. Ooh, it's coming. Look at me spilling stuff. I was practicing.
Thinking out loud.
In a major way. About the restaurant. Tiffany, take it away, because I know that's your favorite place. You know, that's anti-Blackness, anti-Black woman.
So I actually am interested in what other people, the audience, have to say about this, because I do have my own opinion, but I'm open to others.
Set it up. Okay, right. So the name of the company is Kitchen.
It's called True Kitchen. It's called True Kitchen and Cocktails with a K. Cocktails with a K.
Cocktails with a K.
Who like to spell different. And if you haven't seen it on social media, basically what happened is, I think it's a restaurant in Texas. I want to say Houston, maybe. Dallas, in Texas.
In Texas.
And it's a black owned establishment. You know, food, music, good vibe, good time, ambiance, probably brunch teamed, all of that. And so in this particular instance, to make it short, there was a group of women who were at the restaurant, and this particular DJ was playing I'll tell my age, if you're in the 99, 2000 range of hip hop, you know that it's good. And I think they were playing like College Party, but they were even playing, I think, Body by Meg Thee Stallion. And
right.
So these girls,
they were doing a lot.
These girls were getting hype. Like, okay.
It was very, very Woodland vibes. You know,
if you've been to Woodland in Brooklyn.
People who live in Brooklyn, you remember Woodland
or Caribbean Social when they started, when they were doing
social. Okay. You know, brunch gets a little turned. Brunch has the potential to get a little turned.
Get turned, and so
you turned brunches myself.
And so the owner who had his staff approach the women and say, you can't, which I did, you can't be on the tables, or you can't be twerking, you can't be dancing. All of that happened. I think they had to go over approximately 3 times, because 3 is the magic number.
3 times.
And then instead of de-escalating the situation, in my opinion, I think it was escalated by having a lecture on what Black women should be doing to be age appropriate or appropriate in general, respectable, and what
there was so many things going on.
Right, why Black people? That's not this kind of establishment, the kind of Black people we want here. Which, what does that even mean? And then they have a dress code, if you didn't see that, and part of it is no baggy pants, no bodysuit. Which, sir, are you saying bodysuit or catsuit? Because I have both, and if you see me in one or the other, it's totally different. It's totally different.
No jumpsuits either, because I love a jumpsuit, honey.
Like no furry sandals.
I love a little jumpsuit, little belt.
So anyway,
he basically wants a restaurant full of old Karens.
Aristocrats.
I'm gonna say
aristocrats.
Right. Like, I don't even want to say bougie Blacks, because if you think Atlanta, there's no one, and I'm saying this with love. Atlanta and DC.
Has anyone in the mixed crowd seen
Brooklyn on our own thing too, but they be on one where they look nice and they turn up. So it's like, what are you saying about one? I'll just give my opinion, and I'll open it up to you all. I'll make it 1 minute or less, because you're not going to talk about it forever, because I'm tipsy.
I know you are upset. Tiffany's upset.
I am very upset because, the argument is, well, it's his restaurant. He can do what he wants. That is totally fine, but that is not a business person, right? So business is different than being yours, right? So either you're a brand or you're a person. So if you want to just be a person, that's totally fine. I can have what I like in my apartment too, right? So if I don't like it, I don't like it. But if I'm going to have you spend your money here, I have to also respect you as my patron too, right? So that was one thing. And then my other thing was, for me, the misogyny. It was blaring to my face. And when I think women didn't get that,
honey, it was.
I didn't like it. I didn't, and I just felt like that most, not all, that most of the women that were, you know, agreeing with him, because if you agree with him, totally fine. We can agree to disagree on that. But when I'm like, but did you listen to where he was talking to grown Black women?
And then he backed it up. Did you guys see him on
myself?
TMZ? Did you guys see him on TMZ?
No, so tell
he
me.
further solidified his point that, you know, he has no problem with twerking at other establishments. He has no problem with, you know, just people having the right to twerk. He's just saying that that's not a representation of Blackness that he appreciates at his restaurant. And he happens to think that, you know, it's just women, it's just not a way to present yourself respectfully and things like that. And I was like, wow, you know, I feel bad that that's your limited vision of, you know, what respect for self is, because, you know, you being a Black person, if you look at our people, you know, you look at, you know, traditions and rituals, you know, it includes, you know, moving to the waist.
So I did see the video. That's what I didn't realize that's what you guys were talking about earlier. The way he talked to
that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on.
When he got to the point when he told them, you know, to get the out because he don't need their money. I just couldn't.
I get it, and that just proves that Black women are dispensable, right? So it's like, okay, we're like, okay, whatever. Right. Like, you don't need my money. After I heard that they waited a few hours to be seated, and they kept serving them drinks. So, you know, they're waiting 2 hours for their food, which is typical brunch life, right? How long you go to a brunch party, you're waiting 90 minutes for your chicken and waffles, and your grits. So by the time it gets here, you done went through 3 pitchers of margaritas or, you know, mimosas.
Absolutely.
So you turn, and how many times am I going to hear throw that ass in a circle? You know what I mean? Without me thinking, okay, maybe I will.
Exactly. That's what happens at brunch. Like, we've all been to brunch.
It is our people, right? And I am not advocating for destroying people's property.
Right.
Because I know people are going to want to stand on that, but it's not about that. It's deeper.
Where is his staff though? And my thing is, again, as the owner and the businessman, I appreciate you being present in your business and wanting to see how everything's going, but you also should have staff there that take care of that for you to say, you know what, I'm going to need these women to be escorted out, because if he would have just kept it on being on his tables and all that, what can I say about that?
Well, what's crazy is that, you know, after a while, after 3 times they got ghetto. After 3 times you got ghetto too, because you just lost it. Do you know what I mean? So how are you different? Because after you spoke to them and you saw, there's video of him really pleading, like, oh, can you please just, you know, because he's claiming like, I don't want you to fall through the glass, right? Okay, no problem. You don't want the light. You don't want you don't want to be sued, right? So you want to do the right thing by the book. But after 3 times, they got even more turned, right? So they started shaking all of a sudden. But so did you. Do you know what I mean? So you got beside yourself when you exhaled.
And a restaurant full of women. You talking to a what?
How are you different? How are you different? Right now, like the only difference is that it's your establishment. There is no consequence, right? There's no there's nothing,
and I want to turn that like, and I don't want to make a scenario where there isn't one, but there have been some. But I'm saying that we as Black people, I know I've been there at other restaurants where just being loud is a cause for,
again,
you know, you're being a little
back to Woodland. Back to Woodland, right?
But it's like you're literally playing all my soca tunes. You know I'm about to go to Carnival, and if not, I'm missing Carnival. So like, you know that you can't play all this music for me, and I'm not going to want to dance. But it was never to the point where, and they had bouncers there, where I felt like I was demeaned as a woman for doing what I naturally am able to do. Sir, my whole issue with him, and I'm sure there is a woman who will probably like if they got the chance to interview him, but I want us women to not let men pass on that because you think they're right about one aspect of everything they said, right?
Well,
so if a guy's telling you,
people are gonna stand on the fact that it's his property, it's a time and place. There's old, like get the thing. Oh, there's older people there. There's kids, but you're playing body yada 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 yada.
Right.
The same place that your grandmother that you're claiming to want to uphold this higher standard, right? And I listen. You can be uppity all you want, okay? Because when I'm ready to be, level number 5, I'm ready, okay? So I'm not taking that away from you. I am saying that for me, I am very clear that definitely all skin folk ain't like definitely because you just took it to like a whole, you know what I mean? It's not about my safety.
That was something he had on the inside. He was trying to get this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Safety was the scapegoat, right? And that's a theme of 2020. The safety is the scapegoat. Oh, I want you to be safe,
right? But it's okay until it comes out of his face, right? So if you would have been like, "It's bitches like you," right? Now, if you would have said that, trust me, everybody would have canceled him. His restaurant would have got shut down. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, but like, it's one of those like. I'm interested what other men and women feel. Sorry.
Yeah, let's see what they said.
The female dog. But
what they said.
I just, I'm interested because I don't want to take the stance where I'm just going to harp on the way he spoke to women, but I feel like we need to be able to say that.
I'm harp on it. Listen, harp. I got my teeth in that, honey. I have my teeth in that. You know why? Because we've normalized, right? That type of group think like, oh, they shouldn't be doing, they need to be. Okay, you are now agreeing with now being an agent of like white supremacy, right? And this whole like whiteness being the standard, this whole like aristocrat, imperialist type situation. Like that's what you're into. So to the point where like, oh, it's fine dining. Listen, you can think fine dining in one aspect. The same thought about fine dining is now oppressing Black artists and Black, like, people who are in like photography and stuff that want to get into like museums and stuff because they feel like that's a goal. So meaning that you're still an artist. So the fact that you weren't picked to exhibit in a museum, that's now the measure of how you feel about how amazing you are. This is the shit that I'm sorry.
And the Grammys, just like the Grammys. I think that's part of
the So it's like, are you popping or not? And again, 2020 is now saying to you, no one's going to bless what you're doing. No one cares because not everybody's trying to do their shit. So if no one's going to bless what you're doing, are you still going to do it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure now he'll have his group of supporters that'll go. I mean, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I don't know. But I didn't see the furniture that was that great. It was just, is it just me, or did I not see?
I don't, and this is where I get very, again, and this is where I get very 2020, right? Again, cancel culture is a thing in 2020. So that's another lesson. So I don't believe in cancel culture. I'm not trying. I know that man worked hard to buy a building. I could only imagine as a Black man, this uphill battle, but you did it. You were able to the point where you're so comfortable that you would disrespect it. You could disrespect the people who couldn't, right? Who you need, right? Because at the end of the day, they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I need a reservation at that place," because they're so proud, right? Because I heard he has reservations like months ahead.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So look at the privilege that you're standing on, to the point where you feel like you could slice a couple dollars. You don't care about certain type of dollars. That's where you at. Good for you. Good for you.
He came out of himself, and I just feel like that's where you separate yourself from so many other business people.
You are no different.
People.
You are no different, and you're trying to coat it in. You're trying to coat it in. Oh, I'm trying to create a space for Black people to have something nice. First of all, I went to like El Bastiado. How many places that we go to El Bastiado, and those places that you go to where white people get to be Black? You know, they police the black people at the door. You know, they make you make sure you're looking good, and you know, okay, and then just to get in there, white people acting black, throw that ass in the what? Are you doing?
Right.
I just
I mean,
feel
I'm
like
okay with it, but I'm just like, wow, okay.
I want to invite them girls to New York. They need to come to New York and hang out with us one good time.
Come on. Right?
They wouldn't leave.
Right?
Okay, they would stay right here.
Tapped in. That's the thing about being tapped in. We get it. We're not saying like uphill battle with that.
Yeah.
But this is why we gotta sink our teeth into those details.
Can I try to find one of those girls for next week? I feel like I'm going to try to find one of them and be like, I want you to come. If you can
find them and talk to them about, listen, here's what I heard, and you can tell them what I heard. Here's what the streets are saying. The streets are saying that they waited mad long for their table. They were there waiting for their food, and while they were waiting for their food, they were served a bunch of drinks. You know, drinks are coming. You know what I mean? The bar is flowing. The kitchen a little backed up, but this isn't bar rescue, so I'm not going to judge.
Right.
Okay.
I'm screaming.
I'm just thinking of all the times that's been me, and where I've actually been told, like, full disclosure, ma'am, you do need to sit down. Like, I know I was doing
I get it. Listen, I have been kind of slightly escorted out the bar. I think I've been asked to leave. I think a couple of times, you know, asked
water under the bridge.
To leave. You know, like, man,
it happens.
Listen, it is a certain part of me. It is a part of my bucket list. It's like going. You know, certain people want to go to Cancun and get crazy. I mean, people you know what I'm saying? I get it. For me, maybe being escorted off the premises off of one thing as a black person is a goal.
Well, you met that, ma'am. You met that bucket list. You're good. I know I'm good.
Not the goal.
Swan, have you been escorted off the premises for anything? Come on now.
Yeah, a couple times.
Tiffany, have you been escorted off the premises at any point?
Absolutely.
Okay. I want to post that question. Listen, I am no shame. This is the judgment-free zone. If you have been escorted off the premises once or twice, I want you to, you know, do a little, what's that emoji that's like this?
and mine was warranted. The next day I woke up like, okay, I earned that. Like, I earned that. I need to leave.
Every single one that I did, it was warranted as well. Okay?
Right.
I am not advocating for bad behavior at all.
Me either.
I am just saying that I am sure if you've never been escorted off the premises of anything, are you really living?
Right.
This question I want to ask: what is like if you've not turned up to the point where you have to be politely escorted out?
In 2020, have you stood and danced on any? Mind you, soca songs, they say pick up something, anything. I want you to pick up something, anything. Do something crazy. Do something crazy. Okay.
You are advocating a lot for December.
I want to remind people about their duality. I want to remind people about the intersectional lives that they live. Okay, the intersectionality. When they say do something crazy, you know, mash it up, we go buy it back. Mash it up, we go buy it back, or whatever that Grenadian song is.
I know, yeah.
Come on now, you know.
Okay.
We are a little different when we get a little music in our souls.
A little.
Okay, just a little bit, Abby. A lot.
So
I'm also interested in their food. If anyone knows or can tell me how the food tastes at True Kitchen Cocktails with a K, I would like to know. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's great.
You know,
it better be. Because that was bold. It better be delicious. It better be utterly delicious.
But think about all the restaurants in New York that are like amazing. Or even DC or Philly that are. I just can't see that happening in any of those cities.
But listen, guys, it happens. Here's the thing. That is a reality check for us. Again, 2020 came to, let's keep on the theme. 2020 came to give us all a reality check to choose what we wanted to do, to say no one's going to co-sign, no one's going to validate, no one's going to like it. Do you still want to do it? Do you know what I mean? That's our reality check.
Although my escorts never made it on World Star. I feel like that's the extent of what I could get if I even made it anywhere is like World Star.
Not World Star. Get out of here.
I feel like, and here's the thing, Tiffany's the type of person I feel like, okay, scenario.
No, she's banned before she even goes.
I feel like
Don't
Tiffany
go.
will try to call, get a reservation, wait politely, get there, order everything, put her card down, and twerk right after she just
Right
forever. And be like, I'm twerking on the table. Are you going to tell me something? What's happening? I feel like you're going to like gaslight those people.
That might be something I would do.
Okay.
You know me, but you know what? I feel seen. What is
you
like,
feel seen. I say, listen, this is hard to hate me. Is anyone responding to the, have you been escorted off the premises in your life?
Let me refresh.
I feel like people gotta tell us that because I know I want the good stories too, men and women. Because I know some dudes be turning up with their bottle. Okay.
Okay.
Listen,
Why
I've been
is my
asked
phone
to leave.
still dying on the charger?
I've been asked to leave. Just making meaning out of certain things that they just felt like I should never be making meaning out of. But again, it is also a level of maturity, right? So I'm not gonna like leave that out of it.
Right.
Because I turn up and I would twerk for the joy of it. You know, you always want to add value to, you're supporting a Black establishment. They're playing the music that gets you, that celebrates you, that draws you out.
Right.
Okay? The music is drawing you out, at least making you feel it a little bit. And all of that included, you know, it's out. It's out. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't like the level. It's the level, you know. It's like you went from one thing, you don't want us to get cut by the glass, and then you went to something else, and then it's like, okay, then you go to see him on TMZ, and he's like, well, you know, F it. I just don't think it's appropriate. I hate it. My mama don't like it. I don't like it.
And that's the fine line. Like you walk as a business owner. Who cares what you like?
Mm-hmm.
But
that's just like in the service industry.
When you have a concept, when he has a concept restaurant where he gets to say, you know, I'm gonna do a little jazz, a little trap music, a little this, a little that, and throw in some comfort food. I'm still gonna make you fat, but I'm gonna make you feel floaty doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's now a thing. And they call it brunch. You know what I mean? It's when back in the day, brunch was, you know, the way you kind of got over the shit you got into the night before.
Right.
With food.
Yeah.
But evolution is okay. It's okay. Right?
Right. I don't know. Maybe you need to know the heartbeat of your community. Because listen, if you don't know what's going on, like, because if you're getting a younger crowd and you have an older crowd, but you're catering to the younger crowd, you already know how they get down. Like, sir.
But can we talk about aunties and uncles when they get drunk though? they get
let's
right.
just call it blackness. It's part of blackness. It's part of like, listen, it's like, listen, at the right time it forms a Soul Train line. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. At the right time, you're at a concert and you're so far up and everyone's enjoying it in the aisles that you feel like it doesn't even matter. At the right time, that type of stuff works. At the right time, it is the wrong time for certain people. And it was the wrong time for him. And I don't want to shame him for wanting to set a standard. I just want him to see that his standard is really rooted in just misogyny and white supremacy, and you know that's really the point. Right. And so that he gets to choose about how he decides to diss people.
If he would have kept it at inebriation and disruption, we would not be talking about this right now.
Mm-hmm. Right? Because that's all it was about. That's all it should be about.
So don't have, and if you would have left it there, but then you tried to lecture.
He tried it.
All his skeletons are going to come out.
Got the same level of ghetto that he accused
Yeah.
them of. So you got to, again, and that is how subconscious it is.
Maybe worse though, because if your grandmother's in the restaurant, did he say she was in there? Right,
Well,
right.
no,
I
he
think
was
his
saying,
mother.
well, he was talking about his
You
restaurant.
talk like that in front of your mother?
Well, no,
I
he
don't
was
care
saying,
how old I am. I would
no,
never
he was
talk to
saying, no, he was, let me correct that. He actually was saying like something to the effect of his restaurant is a space where, you know, grandmothers could attend, or,
okay.
I mean, I could be wrong. He could be saying that too.
Mhm.
Because this is
But
his,
still,
this is
even
his,
talking in front of them like that, like to tell, if I ever,
oh,
no
he
matter how
drives
old
it.
I am, say get to people in front of my mother, she'll probably slap me in my mouth, no matter how old I am.
Can I?
You know?
Again, it's the level of
Yeah.
agency, right?
Yeah.
Because if he was like an older person, you know, like let's just say you was at Patty LaBelle restaurant.
I wouldn't do that
Right.
Patty LaBelle restaurant. I wouldn't. That's like my
Let's
auntie.
just say you at, listen, remember Bobby and in New York, Bobby and somebody, anyway, whatever, Patty LaBelle restaurant. Let's say she has a restaurant, and you go in there, and you know she has a little like whatever, a little flexibility with the music, and it's not all. Well, maybe Patty LaBelle is not a good example because she's not gonna be playing body yada yada yada. Maybe
She
not.
might.
I don't know.
She might put a little spill in there here and there, right?
She probably like,
Well,
body
Dionne
yada
Warwick
yada,
likes Meg Thee
body,
Stallion,
you know,
so
she
there's
probably
that.
turned it up. But you get what I'm saying. It doesn't take much for us to get turned. It doesn't take much, you know, even the best loungy DJ, come on, you put on some old school situations, even the old school music. They was dancing nice and sweet and talking about let me get in your hole. You know what I mean?
Listen.
No. My song my dad used to play. I've been stroking to the east.
Hello.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
To the west. Baby. Them songs were nasty, honey.
Right. So again, and while you are listening to that, you're grooving extra hard because you know what the words are saying. Right?
Yes.
So didn't you have a certain portion of the society saying, see, that ain't respectable. You didn't listen to that little doing that devil movement.
But you know what make me upset about this too? It's almost like because, and I only take it personal, and I feel like that's okay to do, because that could have easily been us there, right? But you're gonna tell me I'm not respectable when that's the
Absolutely,
one
could
thing
have.
I
That's what I'm
am,
saying.
right? So like, don't do that.
I gotta watch, and I'm
Yeah.
watching and I'm taking notes because
Yeah.
I know to a certain level, this is where the energy that he came from. It wasn't about my safety, my G. It really
Thank you.
wasn't,
Thank
and I
you.
get it. And I get it. So the fact that I get it means that yeah, I don't know. You may not be the first or second or third option, you know. And you may be, if I'm in Texas and I'm trying to support Black owned,
Exactly.
you may not be the third or fourth because I just don't want to be policed and in that way and telling me that it's for my own good. You're teaching me to be respectable. Go tell that to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's 9:52.
I know. Thank
And
you for
on that
letting
note,
us. Yeah. On that note.
Listen, this is hard to hate me, right? And
Okay.
this is Opinionated Diva, okay, and Tony T,
Twanty.
and listen, this is our first attempt at doing this remote. I really enjoyed being in my home and being in my space because we live in New York and we have no idea what is up and coming as far as what we're going to be shut down, our ability to be in the streets freely.
You know, but this looks really good and I want to do it, but I feel like y'all tried to play me because I look like I'm about to go pack somewhere to go on a trip.
You're the one that wanted
to, I don't have
you're the one that wanted to wear sexy stuff on, you know. Listen, no.
Also, because this is all I have to give, right? This is my exposed closet.
I am accepting what you have to give. I am accepting what you have to give.
As long as the audience is okay with clothes.
You've had a long day. Listen, I am not kidding myself about how much energy it takes to have this conversation and just really talk freely in front of everyone, and to just be vulnerable. So I want to have these my voice is going. I want to have these conversations because it's important to have these conversations, and it's important to have these conversations on these platforms because it's needed.
Necessary. Yep.
And the connection, right? Like, we are bridging the gap. I feel like we're bridging the gap. And 2020, listen, symbolic, meaningful. What about y'all?
All that.
It was a lot of things.
Yeah.
Too many. I feel like 2020 went by like literally like I don't even remember half of it, honestly. And a lot happened.
It was long for me, but I'm glad it's almost over.
What you remember now is what's important, right? Because if you don't remember it, then maybe you don't need it.
You know what I remember. Well, not even what I remember. What I know and what I've learned in 2020 is that I still love to have fun. So I remember, I can't remember her
Black
name.
Joy.
The good DJ that loves to party. But I've learned that my party net don't have to spread that far for me to have a good time. Like, I've had fun with you and Twan, right? Us just going somewhere, having a good time, or, Hope, who's been on the show before, Tamika's been on the show before. We just hang together. Like, so my idea of if I got good music and good people, hello, GMGT, if I have all of that,
right.
It's good. So that's what I've learned.
Twan, what about you?
I've learned that I'm resilient. And I knew it, but baby, it was a new level of resilience this year. So, I've learned that I'm very resilient, and it's time to take that into 2021. Use that learning.
I mean, that's a part of our legacy. So you are in alignment. As a Black person, being resilient is just a part of the code. It's a part of this, just what we're born into.
Not an option almost. It's like welcome to the party.
Right. Yeah. Well, thankful we get to define what resilient looks like. Like, for me, I need I have to do little intervals, because I need to re-up.
Absolutely.
It's important to re-up. We started this show by talking about, just 2020 being of acknowledging how tough it is, acknowledging how important it is to keep the vibe going. Certain things that we acknowledge, and Tiffany, you just recently saying how important it is to like doing things that you are like that makes you happy, like your Black joy. Black joy is so important. It's a part of your personal foundation. So going into 2020, as much as we want to reclaim our time for certain things that we want to do over, it's really important to understand that you have to chase your well-being more than you chase your, what you consider to be successful, because we have no idea. I feel like we have no idea what is going to be considered appropriate going forward.
No. It's going to continue to evolve at least for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
literally.
Right.
This is going to keep continuing.
We don't know what.
And I'm only going to be 21 in 5 years, so I don't have time to be like messing around. I need to have this next year. I got to get my life together. So
you got to get your life together. So you got to be able to be a respectable woman twerking on.
Thank you.
Twerking on your own establishment. Okay, twerking on your own establishment.
Is Kareem going to let us have a GMGT brunch where there's twerking allowed? I feel like that's the way to redeem everything. Kareem, I hope you're listening.
Listen, I feel like it's a word, right? I'm wishing, and I'm putting every intention in front of just us, just being more charming about who we are, and when I use the word charming, because it's like, when you think about charm, it's like you instantly smile, and you think about somebody that makes you smile. I hope that we make ourselves smile. Like, you look at yourself, you think of yourself, and you immediately smile.
I will work on that.
Listen, if we can't even get that, I don't know what's gonna happen. That's gonna leave us too vulnerable. If we can't say, listen, I'm on a new level, because last year was all about abundance. Oh, I'm on a new level of abundance. I'm abundance, right? Law of attraction, right after abundance is a new level of charm. After new level of charm is the new level of intelligence. If you get your charm, abundance, and intelligence together, that's a whole new energy. You're in a different vibe.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm gonna go there.
I'm
Okay.
just saying that's the whole frequency. That's how accessible it is. How easy it is. And you know, as Black people, we get a lot of hashtags thrown at us.
Right.
We get a lot of taglines. So, you know, just like even like Hard to Hate. Hard to Hate is really about pursuing just your own well-being. And I really enjoy having these conversations with you because you guys are in spaces and in rooms that will make a difference, that's making a difference as far as representation and visibility, you know, where people may not even get to know, but they're going to benefit.
Okay, I like it. I like the way it goes.
Take it.
Absolutely.
Take it. Listen,
Okay.
if you ain't believe it, I'm just saying, I'm edifying that right now, putting it out there.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
darling. Yes.
This has been Hard to Hate Me. Okay, our first virtual edition. I've had so much fun being, you know, just putting back gratitude in our heart. I'm glad that you guys stayed tuned. I'm glad that you guys was present.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for the presence.
I had a great time.
Right?
I'm
I had a
grateful.
great time too. GMGT, listen, the Caribbean family. Listen, I want to go live this week because I have to talk about small acts. I'm giving y'all homework. I need y'all to look on Netflix, or is it Netflix or Prime Videos? Prime, if y'all got Prime, listen, maybe I'll have a little Prime party to look at small acts and Lovers Rock, which is you know, one of the new amazing features on Netflix about Caribbean contributions to just liberating Black people. So anyway, it's
put them on your Instagram so I can get it. And
I think I may have a little watch party. I may think about that because not everybody got Amazon Prime Video. Anyway,
I have Amazon Prime Video too, so let me know.
What you wanted? Last words, guys. It's a little after 10.
I had a great time. That's it.
I had a great time, and I'm grateful, and I want everybody out there to be grateful as well, honey, because we're still here. Listen.
Gratitude in our hearts. Gratitude in our hearts. If you got gratitude in our hearts, you could be hard to hate, honey. They cannot hate you.
Hey.
Oh.
Come on here.
I'm going to make me a drink when this is over, so everybody should.
Thank you so much. Good night.
All right.
Good night,
Good
y'all.
night. Love you all.
Good night, everyone. Mwah.
Get on where the culture lives.